And I could see that there was a gap into the early childhood system where
Transition from this high paying corporate job into education.
one thing to talk about is definitely a lot of values that we can teach our children, which must happen in the schools. The values, if instilled early in life, I think that goes a long way. So extremely important for teachers to get trained, properly certified if they want to work as a preschool teacher as well. You stop thinking out of the box.
Nowadays, kids are born with an iPad or a phone. I'm sure your effort is going to see the light.
Your passion should be education.
Amazing. My God, I wonder how your day looks like right now. It's not the coffee with Karan. Whoa, lovely. Oh my God.
So it's transparency, because see, transparency builds trust. Why do we touch a feet of a guru or parents?
I think you need to have the DNA of education.
A strict no for the parents is when they give the mobile or the iPad to the children while they're feeding them.
Are you getting government support in this? Or this is a
I think I've done my job. नहीं समझे हैं वो हमें तो क्या जाता है, हारी बाजी को जीतना हमें आता है.
Today we welcome Dr. Seema Tanwar, who is a TEDx speaker, a educationist, and managing director of Canvas Kids Preschools. She's a global certified project manager, change maker. She champions value-based early education and women empowerment. Seema believes strong values in early years create responsible citizens. Awarded by Times of India, Rotary, Femina, Lokmat, Lions Club, and more. She recently spoke at TEDx Youth Pune and represented India at the World School Summit, Bangkok. Dr. Seema Tanwar is redefining early education through values, impact, and purpose. From TEDx stages to global summits, her mission is simple: build better humans from the very beginning. Hi, Seema.
Hi Neha.
Welcome to our studio.
Thank you so much.
Such a delight to have you. Finally, we matched the dates.
Finally, we matched the dates, and thank you so much for the honor and invitation.
My pleasure. So, first of all, how are you doing today?
Oh, great, great. Managed to schedule a few more meetings around your cluster. So, yes, have been on toes since morning.
Wow. As usual.
Yeah.
So, Seema, firstly, I'm very curious to know about your transition from this high-paying corporate job into education. Let's start talking about that first. What triggered you to take this pivot?
Right. So, I think the transition was a little gradual, Neha, because I was into a very different domain in the corporate, into financial accounting, heading transitions, large teams, which was all into bank reconciliations, payables, receivables, all of that. I think education happened as a calling. So I changed my job and my industry and started working into higher education, where I was connecting the gap with the corporate and the higher education. And I was doing a research for different countries at that time and helping another company. And from there, again, it was a calling for me to get into early childhood education, where I actually wanted to make a difference in this sector, because there was a lot which I could see that needed to change there. And by that time, I had already had my children. They had started going to preschools. And I did see a dire need of something to come up which could really create a difference in this sector. So that's when I decided that let's switch and let's see what I can do here.
Wow. Is there like an anecdote or a story to it that you saw something in your kids very particular that you thought, this needs to change? Is there anything particular, or it was just a generic feeling?
I think it was more generic, but there was always a need for me to work with children. And I could see that there was a gap into the early childhood system where children were more focusing on literacy and numeracy And there was just so much more that we could do in the early childhood education to enhance what we can teach. One thing to talk about is definitely a lot of values that we can teach our children, which must happen in the schools. So when I started with Canvas Prime and Canvas Kids as my own brands, that was one of my focuses where we could teach our children more of value-based things, starting from a field trip, which we did not want to take them to post office or a nearby garden or a shopping mall that they do anyways. Why not take the children to an old age home, to an orphanage, to a book donation drive, or to a blood donation drive where they get actually to see that and learn from that. So the values, if instilled early in life, I think that goes a long way.
I completely agree and resonate with that purpose. I myself very passionate about education. I think it drives the future of the world.
Absolutely.
So hats off to you and your team for doing this. But tell me also about the difference between a typical preschool and
Yes.
Canvas, the brand that you've started.
Yes.
What are the changes that you made consciously?
So consciously, the first change that I made, Neha, was something which was very drastic. 2013 I started. So now 15 years back, the first change that I made is starting to give online CCTV access to all the parents at all point in time, which was my brand was the first one to start that in the market. And I did get back a lot of things from a lot of stalwarts of education and a lot of bigger brands that, ma'am, why are you doing this? This is not allowed. I says, who defines which is not allowed? If we have a transparent curriculum, a transparent system, a transparent way of handling the children, why can we not give that access to the parents to watch? And trust me, it has been 15 years since I've continued this practice. And it's always been a win-win for the parents and for the preschool.
I'm sure.
So it's transparency, because see, transparency builds trust. Once trust is established between a child and a guru, that's only when education starts. That's only when
True.
knowledge transfer starts.
True.
And
True.
if in between an institution and a parent as well.
And I think you being a parent,
Yes.
you would
yes.
love this, right? And that's where it's coming from.
Absolutely, yes.
Wow.
So I wanted to bring those changes, which ended up being bigger changes in this education world. Now you look at bigger brands in the last 6 to 7 years, they've all started giving access to their parents.
Yeah.
It's a good change.
Inspired from
It's
you.
a good change.
It is, absolutely. What else, in terms of values,
Yes.
what activities you plan?
So I am a dire fan of the Indian knowledge systems. And I do understand that our knowledge systems hold great knowledge and value, what we are not able to impart to our children. Although, yes, national education policy does talk about it, but we don't have a very defined content and curriculum towards that to implement. But very small things to bigger things like, why do we do Namaste? We don't know the reason behind it. Once we press our fingers, it activates those brain cells where we are able to remember the name of the person or whom we are being introduced to better.
Wow.
So,
the science of
the
it.
science behind all of these things. Why do we touch a feet of a guru or parents? It completes a connection. So there are things like this. Why do we light a deepak during puja? Everything holds a value. Why do we sit and drink water? Why do we, eat, take a bath before eating? There are smaller things which have great scientific values, and lot of things which are there in our value system which is not getting passed on to our children. We started all of those in our curriculum.
Wow.
So in our preschools, you will not have children saying good morning and good afternoon. You will have children saying namaste.
Oh, I love that. Oh my
And
God.
the parents love it.
Yeah.
Because they do appreciate that, yes, there is. So you need to sensitize the parents as well that why we are doing this, they do understand. So small and big changes. And as I spoke about the field trips as well, their learning centers, the way they sit, the way they learn, the ratios that we maintain, everything we try to change so that we can give a greater value to the child.
Wow, this is very interesting. In fact, I want to, rewind a bit back on all the scientific reasons that you mentioned. Can you take us through, like you said, Namaste has this scientific reason. Can you give us some more nuggets on some atomic habits, like you said, that you
Right.
instill in them?
So, one is gratitude. The gratitude prayers are extremely important. What we teach our children when they wake up every day, it just doesn't start from coming to school. It starts right at the time when they put down their feet onto the ground. They need to touch the ground and say a gratitude prayer, thanking thanking their own feet, thanking their own body, thanking the floor or the ground or mother earth that they're supporting us constantly. you know the kind of rooms that the parents need to set up, the color schemes,
Oh.
the kind of gratitude the children need to show towards their parents, everything instills a value in them.
Wow.
Because one thing that the parents and the children definitely need to work on these days is a gratitude.
True.
They need to constantly
Yeah.
thank for who they are, what kind of resources they are getting access to, everything. So that's
Yeah.
one value we definitely work
It
on.
has magical powers.
Magical power, yes.
True. I mean, can you also give me an insight on, right from the kindergarten, how is the journey for the child in terms of value systems? Like just a framework, if you can share.
Okay. I think it's a natural growth, Neha, because see, playgroup and nursery is a very, very basic level of all of this that we are doing. So we also have yoga specialists coming in where we do children specific yoga.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's, if you just ask the children to close their eyes and sit and do meditation, they can't
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So we have every scheme which is available for them, that what helps a child to also meditate. How much time they should, what they should think in their mind when they're meditating. So we have to, it's a guided yoga that we have to do for all of them, which increases, so it's just one of the things that we do, which will now increase when they're in lower KG and they're in upper KG. The time span increases, their meditation level increases, all of that, So that's one of the things. Second, we have a whole socio-emotional learning chart where we treat the mind as the corner of we have a certain term for that, what they develop all along the way. So we tell that your brain is a baby, what you need to develop and you need to nurture it, and it goes along with your heart. So that's a whole curriculum that we
Wow.
have. So what we tell them is, when you get angry, what happens to your brain? When you're happy, what happens to your brain? So again, those values, the emotions we touch upon through all of that, that's how we teach the whole curriculum. And again, it's a progressive journey where they learn all along the way how to, through brain and through that tiny little moment that they experience, they get to know the value systems, the emotions, how to incorporate them, what happens when they don't handle their emotions correctly, what is their relation to the people who surround them, their friends, their parents, their teachers, everybody around them. So again, that's another socio-emotional learning that we are doing. Again, value-based, again, emotions, all of that. So yes, they're teaching them to be more mindful every day and where they are. Very, very basic level, but it increases, as and when their age
they
increases.
grow. So you have like a slot every day for.
Usually that's twice a week.
Okay.
Yeah, every day there's already so much to do. We don't get a lot of time, but yes. But like the meditation will happen every day. Yeah, the
For
dance movement,
30 minutes.
Yes, dance movement will happen every day. So you can see that we are working with both the mental stability, the mental health of the children, as well as the physical health of the children, side
which
by
is
side.
amazing. I mean, most of the schools complain that, if they start doing this, they'll not have the time for academics. But I think you've done it so beautifully and it's possible.
Yes. So I think foundational literacy and numeracy is important, but that's not everything in the early childhood education. That is only, I would say, 25 to 30% of what all we can teach the children.
Sure.
So that is the time that we need to dedicate in
Yeah.
curriculum which handles this age group, not 90% of reading and writing and reinforcing and all of that. There is just so much more that we can do. And
And I
that's how
think
our
this
curriculum
becomes
is.
a catalyst, right?
Yes.
To
Yes.
then make you much better in your academics,
Absolutely.
which
Absolutely.
I think hopefully all schools would realize.
Yes.
So I'm just also curious, let's see if I want to start a school with your model. Do you have any arrangement or how can I kind of collab with your brand?
Of course, there is a whole curriculum which is set, learning plans and everything is given, teachers training is given. We do certification for teachers as well. So it comes as a complete package that you can sign up
Okay.
for. But yes, of course, it is possible.
So you set up schools
Absolutely,
and
yes.
so it's a franchise model?
Yes, it is
Okay.
a franchisee model that we run, and we do give franchisees as a whole package and a whole consulting that I do with the curriculum. And so one part is the academics and one part is the commercials. Both we handle, and we kind of enable the schools to set up and run.
Wow, this is so good. I mean, I would actually urge the audience and people who resonate to this cause to immediately get onto this because I'm sure you built such a good model.
Yes.
And I think it'll save so much time for any school to.
Yes.
And are you also infusing this in existing schools?
No, so this is the content and curriculum that belongs to us. But yes, through other education communities and women empowerment communities that I head, we do have different trainings that takes place. So for example, Indian knowledge systems trainings take place, or social emotional learning trainings takes place. So we do empower educators. So like we just did an EduFest, which is along with the Early Childhood Association and ENAC, which is into teachers training. And there we trained just, I think, 2 weeks back in D.Y. Patil College. We trained 250 teachers, educators from various schools, more than 100 schools, where there were 22 trainers who took up various verticals and taught them into, various sectors of early childhood learning. So yes, I have other forums in which we do large education events and through panel discussions of national
Wow.
education policy.
Since
We
you
do-
mentioned verticals,
Yes.
let's please enlighten us. I think there are 6 verticals, you said, of training. For the school, you have
Uh-huh.
around 6 verticals.
No, so these verticals were in the EduFest, where we did training for the teachers along those tracks. So there were different tracks in EduFest. So one was the National Education Policy track, one was art and drama, one was sports and music. So likewise, there were different tracks. One was emotional intelligence. So like there were different tracks which we could. So if a teacher says that, yeah, I am more strong, say in National Education Policy, but I want to learn more in the art and drama and puppetry and voice modulation, you can go there. So we give a lot of options to the teachers to go and learn.
Depending on their
Yeah.
interest and strengths.
And these constant reinforcements and trainings are very important because you get to learn new pedagogies, new methodologies, new flavors to everyday what they're doing, so that they can. A lot of times you just become so used to with your day-to-day life, you don't know. You stop thinking out of the box.
True.
That's why when these trainings become upgrading becomes very important.
Yeah.
I think as a teacher also, we are learning for life.
Yes, totally. I think as humans, we
Yeah.
should be.
So we're
But you also mentioned this core framework with 6 verticals of the school that you have, right? Where you said the mental health was the 6th one? Or
Oh, so I think you were talking about the Drishti training that we did. Again, on similar lines. So I had the BJP's education cell for Pune for the last 6 years. That's also a huge education community. We work towards the underprivileged schools and the PMC schools. And Drishti was one training which we did for 6 months across 6 different verticals.
Okay.
For almost 210 teachers across 40 English medium schools.
Mhm.
So I worked with the Education Commissioner and the Charity Commissioner at that time, Morak sir and Manisha Raut ma'am. So we got it approved, signed off,
Mhm.
and then we did this training for all of these teachers.
Okay.
That had 6 verticals of training.
Got it. Can you also mention the verticals, because then it gives us
Similar
Yeah.
verticals: national education policy, art and drama, emotional intelligence, mental health of teachers. All of these verticals were there. Foundational literacy, foundational numeracy. These all
Okay.
were very important verticals, and teachers got a lot of
Yeah.
exposure. Although under the PMC school teachers.
Can we also double click on national education policy because it's a broad term?
Yes.
What exactly comes along with it?
So it was released in 2020, and after that, National Curriculum Framework also has come into the picture, which is a very, very elaborate document, 360 page, and I call it the 360-degree overview of the education, early childhood education world. Beautifully laid down, extremely good policies, pedagogies, everything is mentioned there. Now, the only place where we are lagging a little behind is implementation. Hence, constant trainings, upgradations is required, especially with education specialists, experts who have studied all of this, who can quickly guide all the teachers what needs to be done in different areas. But I'm so happy to tell that after so many years, at least early childhood education has been formally recognized by the government,
Yeah.
and hence all these policies have come into picture. Now preschool registrations are starting. Formal early childhood education, the ECCH certifications are starting, which is now mandatory for all teachers to have.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Which includes all these courses.
Everything, all these courses. And
Amazing.
so extremely important for teachers to get trained, properly certified if they want to work as a preschool
Yeah.
teacher as well.
And how long would this course be? Let's say I'm a teacher.
It
How
usually
much?
ranges from 6 months to 1 year for a diploma program. And then there are various levels to that as well.
And it's online, like correspondence?
We
I
can do correspondence. There is online models. There is offline models as well. So different universities and different institutions have different.
Wow. And just
Yes.
on the school level, right?
Yeah. So there is nursery teachers training. There is ECCEd. There is of course a BEd, which the higher education requires.
Oh,
Yes.
so there's a BEd also designed on this model.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
lovely. Which are for college level professors as well?
No. The BEd is for the higher education teachers, so who teach
Okay.
up to grade 12. Yes.
Anything on college level yet?
So by the time, what about college?
I mean,
What was-
is this model or this education policy, has it reached the professors in college? Because again, the teenage level.
It has. So
yeah.
there are different education policies which is released for preschools, for schools, and for colleges. So there is
Okay.
yes. So there are 3 education policies which has come into the picture.
And your focus
is on the early
preschool.
childhood. Yes. Yes.
Wow. Amazing work.
Thank you.
Is there anything more you want to add, as a message to, let's say, a preschool brand or a school brand, an existing brand, or somebody who's trying to enterprise into it?
I always tell people, in fact, just 2 days back also, I had a meeting with somebody who was trying to get into this sector. The first question I ask always them, why do you want to get into this sector? And it's a good business and flexibility.
That's the
and
first
everything.
thing they say.
But that shouldn't be the first thing. You should only get into this if you love children, if you want to make a difference in this education world. Your passion should be education, because that should be your core. Unless you are an educator or you're an educationist, I would suggest just for pure business, don't get into it, because let's not run it like a shop. There's
Yeah.
so much beyond a shop that you can do.
It's
A lot of
very-
times I've seen people who are hardcore thinkers of business. In preschool, there is a lot of emotion, lot of value system is required.
True.
So a lot of times business people don't do a good job around it.
And we've
I'm
seen
sorry
it.
to say.
No, it's true. We've seen examples,
Yes.
right, which are not doing good, because I think you need to have the DNA of education.
Absolutely. There's
that
no point in
emotion.
stuffing 50 children into a small classroom with one teacher and children are struggling,
Yeah.
crying. That is not the definition of education that we're looking at.
Yeah, anything specific on this whole social media AI wave that has come? Are you consciously trying to also train the children?
Absolutely.
Can you please talk
Not the
about
children,
it?
not the children. So Neha, I did a research. So I will now talk about two things. One is children and AI or digital, and one is teachers. So children should be away from any digital screen. So I did a research around this, and I spoke about this on TEDx as well. And my topic was building back better, where we could see that after COVID was a difficult time for all of us, and children just did not get, especially the early childhood children whose brain develop 80% of the brain development happens during the early childhood years. They did not get the right peer relations, the right environment to grow.
True.
They were only restricted to a house, so they did not get the social interactions at all, which caused delay in their speech, their development, had a lot of effect on their emotions. So when they came back to school after COVID, we had a lot of difficulty handling them. First of all, emotionally, they were not stable, speech were delayed, development was delayed, no eye contact. I saw most of the children coming back had, some or the other problems. So I started referring to that as a pandemic, which was a silent pandemic, which nobody was addressing. We all knew COVID pandemic, but this was another pandemic that was happening. And every preschool, so we, along with EC, we did this research where 80% of the teachers were saying that, yes, we are facing this issue in all of our preschools. Now, how to handle that? Because neither we had special educators in the early childhood sectors, nor we had any courses. So we had to upgrade our teachers. So I had done this whole research and I had presented on my TEDx talk as well. So yes, digital screens are a strict no-no for the children because it does not help them. The right brain development doesn't happen with any kind of digital screens, whether it is a TV or a computer or mobiles. But at the same time, AI is a boom.
Yes.
Is in boom, and it is a boon for the teachers as well if they know how to rightly use that, and they need to upgrade themselves. So even in these 6 verticals, the latest that we did have a workshop of AI for teachers and AI for the school leaders because it's very much important.
Yeah.
They need to upgrade.
True. But until what age? Like, what's the clear recommendation? Because, nowadays, kids are born with an iPad or a phone.
I know.
And it's just become like a culture in every home. But is there any specific method that you recommend in schools where parents can take care of it? And, what's the right way to kind of...
So definitely. So, see, I am not really a doctor or a psychiatrist who can talk about it. But at the same time, I'm very much aware that at least till the time a child is 7 to 8 years old, a digital screen is a strict no, because a screen just doesn't talk back to you. It is a one-way communication, and the image movements and everything is so fast that it takes the brain to a different level altogether. It is not developing. Yes, and that is where these hyperactive disorders or various kind of delays and everything happen. A strict no for the parents is when they give the mobile or the iPad to the children while they're feeding them. Because they're not even developing their basic senses and fullness towards eating. The taste buds doesn't develop. They don't even know how much they're eating, what they're eating. It's extremely dangerous. So just put it away. TV, yes. As per the current norms, people do say that 20 minutes to half an hour of TV every day is okay, which I know it often gets stretched as well. But beyond that, that's also not advisable.
Up to 8 years at least.
Up to 7 to 8 years at least. Digital screens are a strict no.
But do you see that they're following up to this? No.
It's again parents who need to be educated towards that. I have had parents who come in for inquiries into the offices. Mummy, Papa bed gaye, and beside them the child is sitting and given a mobile. Because the child will not do anything. And just take away the mobile and let him run around in the school and play.
Yeah.
Let him pick up the sand. Let him pick up the toys. It's all right if he's throwing. Let them. No, he doesn't behave well. He'll start shouting or crying.
It's for their own convenience, I think.
It's for their own convenience.
Like
So,
you see this in restaurants, homes, everywhere they go. It's very scary.
They are not
actually.
realizing the kind of danger they are posing to their children. The developmental delay that they will have lasts for a decade at least, if at all they come out of it.
Wow, yeah. Hopefully, with your model and a lot of people trying
Yes,
to bring this
yes.
change.
So we don't
should
have
happen.
any digital screens in our schools at all.
Okay.
We've not even kept a TV.
All
Many
blackboards,
preschools,
the conventional.
whiteboards, blackboards play with things, what is needed. We have Reggio Emilia, which is playing with nature. There are so many things
Oh.
from nature that we can use. We have multiple intelligence. So even if we are doing a story for them, that will be game based, not just sitting and listening.
Wow.
So it has to be,
Yeah.
the teachers need to be creative and the curriculum
Yeah.
has to be creative.
and the parents.
It has to be differential,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, I can see the depth in which you have gone to design this curriculum. And again, I'm very curious to get into it more. But that's for later. Okay, so now I think we should talk on your work with BJP. Firstly, please introduce your position, what you do
Okay.
with the government.
So I had the BJP's education wing for Pune for the last 6 years. So basically, most of the principals in and around Pune are a part of the group. It's a complete social work group, a platform which is connecting, which is all about connecting the educators, getting them together to do beneficial work for the underprivileged schools.
Okay, it's only focused on underprivileged.
Yes, because see the commercial schools. So, for example, there is a lot of resources that is available with the private schools.
Yeah.
For example, books.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it is all about resource sharing. It is all about sustainability these days, right? So we have a campaign which is Padhenge to Badhenge, which we always have been doing for the last 4 years. We've been doing it with Radio One, which is now Fever FM. where we-
Padhenge to badhenge.
Badhenge,
I love
yes.
that name.
Yes. So we collect books from many societies, many schools. We actually go down to those schools to collect. Then we set up libraries with underprivileged schools who have the rooms, sometimes have the infrastructure, sometimes they don't, but they don't have books, they don't know how to run. So we teach the librarians as well how
Wow.
to maintain the library. So that's one of our projects that we've been consistently doing. Drishti is something that I already mentioned. Neve Awards is something that I do with Pune Times Mirror, where
Can you also explain Drishti, like the full form? Does it have, or it's just
Drishti Teachers Training is what we
it's
kept.
the
where
name
we,
of,
yes.
and this is for
Drishti
the
means
under-
vision.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
for the teachers, yeah.
It's for the underprivileged.
The teachers training that we
teachers,
did
yeah.
for the PMC schools, it was for that. It was for that.
What's the condition right now in India for the underprivileged schools? Like, the ones in the suburbs or villages. Do you have any statistics on it, just for us to get an insight of how much work is required to do?
So awareness is one thing, Neha. I just, on my way here, somebody from Nagpur called me because now that I'm into the teachers training, the ECCA teachers training with ECA and ENAC, they wanted to do the teachers training there into the suburbs. And I'm sorry to say they did not have a clue about what all trainings are available, what is going on in the national education policy, that ECCA is now mandatory. All teachers need to get trained. So I think they're following those decade old or 20 years old structures of, just write the chalk method, what they're still using, not the activity based learning, what is now recommended by the
True.
government. So lots to do there.
I mean, I think already the schools are so less.
Yes.
Number of schools are
yes.
like the proportion is bizarre.
Right.
And then plus the right training.
Right.
So,
Right.
wow.
I'm not really saying that they need to use Montessori or Waldorf or multiple intelligence or Reggio Emilia, kindergarten, playway. It's okay. If they have not done all the research and they don't know, but at least it has to be more activity based, more hands on curriculum that they are following over there. And for that, they definitely need awareness and training.
Yeah, at least a part of it
Yes.
is what you're saying to
Yes.
start with.
Yes.
Wow. I'm sure this will go places. And
I
more
just
power
hope
to
so.
you.
Our vision is to train at least 1 lakh or 2 lakh teachers in the next few years. If we can reach out to all over India and do this training, it will greatly help.
Amen to that. I'm sure your effort is going to see the light. Amazing. So let's get to Wiki. That's I think a very powerful organization for women. And again, curious to know your work into it.
So
Firstly, like what's Wiki for the audience?
I think Wiki is a national organization which runs through various chapters. It's a non-profit organization, all led by women. They have different chapters which heads different verticals. So there is a woman vertical, there's a child development vertical. So I head the holistic child development vertical for the national level. I'm the vice president for that.
Wow.
Now, again, all the training work and all these events that I do, I try to bring in Wiki because they have a community which supports us and we support them in turn.
And I think community would be closer to 1 lakh at least.
Yeah.
India.
The community would be close to 1 lakh.
And they're all women?
Yes, they're all women. Wiki is all about women.
So it's like somebody like you would collaborate with Wiki and do events representing them?
Representing them as well.
Okay.
Yes.
And then expand the community.
Expand the community, join more people, see if there are resource people available who can, do various activities there. So that's how.
Yeah. I mean, the core idea is basically to support each other.
Support each other, and we can see how our synergies, where our synergies are there, and that's how we can collaborate and do more. But yes, it is 1 lakh and more, which is because I remember there was a women empowerment chapter, and they were very active. They were holding online awards, and
which one was this? Which chapter, if you remember? Was it Pune?
Pune chapter only, they had invited me, but then the head was in Calcutta.
Got it. Do you also have your own club?
Yes.
Which is called?
Women's Club Kharadi.
Yes.
So that's a registered NGO.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's been that journey?
So that was another journey that I undertook. I think that was also 6 years back. Just prior to COVID, we had started. Mainly with an intention to do some on-ground work, to collaborate with people and give them a platform to do social work. Which is why we wanted to start as an NGO. But then COVID happened and we went completely online. We had to start a Facebook group because then we used to have a lot of sessions online. We got onto the ground. I remember the first year of COVID, we did 27 drives with the police and PMC around those RT-PCR tests and everything that we used to actually stand and help the PMC people conduct those tests.
Wow.
Then once COVID was over, we started our own clinic called as Rupee One Clinic, where we have done multiple health camps. We have a project called as NARI, which is Nutritional Anemia Reduction Initiative, where we distribute free iron capsules and pads and calcium tablets and deworming. We do their regular iron checks, blood tests. We have also done multiple other health camps like cancer checks and eye checkup camps where we have distributed free glasses.
Oh, nice.
It's an ongoing thing that has been going on for a number of years. We also do work with the Bachpan Orphanage, regularly sponsor the children's meal over there, which is in Harapsar.
Are you getting government support in this, or
No. This is all completely run by women. Yes. Women.
Wow.
In fact, we don't even have a lot of CSR funds. All the CSR funds are taken away by Rotaries and Lions Club. So, but yes,
Okay.
it's all completely run by women. So we try to do more of events, fundraiser events where we can actually support our club. It's a sustainable model then for us.
Sure. And this is for majorly again suburb villages, like women in suburbs?
This
Or
is
it's
for women like us. Everybody joins in.
No, I'm saying the provision.
Yeah, the provision. So, like the Rupee One clinic is only
Yeah.
for the underprivileged ladies
That's
who come
what.
and take free health checkup camps
From the cities,
services.
from
Yes,
everywhere.
from all
basically.
surrounding areas. That is, we don't charge there. We call it Rupee One, but we don't charge. It's
And
absolutely
it's a
free
physical
services.
clinic,
It's
or
a
you?
physical clinic which is in the heart of Kharari.
Oh wow.
Yes, it's been there for the last 4-5 years now. 5 years.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And it's open to
all
anyone.
Yes, yes.
Amazing. What's your vision going ahead with the club, with the brand you run, Canvas Prime, and so many other things? Let's go one.
I think definitely about women empowerment in all sectors, whether it is education, training the right, the right kind of certification, the teachers, empowering them, whether it is the businesswomen who are connected in the Women's Club Kharari. There is another wing that I run, which is the Enable the Shakti, where it is all about empowerment of the business ladies, the right kind of training that they can get, the right networking that they can do
As entrepreneurs.
giving a platform to women to connect for social work as well. Sometimes we do free health checkup camps where they come and volunteer. We do education camps in the orphanages or food drives where also they come and volunteer. So it's
Wow.
all about connecting people, women empowerment, and taking it to the next level.
Amazing. My God, I wonder how your day looks like right now.
I'm
What
used to
time
it.
do you start?
I'm used to it. I start 7:30 in the morning and try to close a little early, but it is usually by 12 that I wrap up.
My God, that's how many hours of work? Almost
I do have my
16.
breaks in between, but
Yeah,
yes.
but you know,
I think it naturally comes to people like you and me where work and
Doesn't
we knew
feel
how to
like
balance.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't feel like work because you're enjoying it thoroughly, what
and
you're
I
doing.
think if it's purpose driven, that keeps you going, like in that flow state.
Absolutely.
It's more recharging, I would say.
Yes,
So
true.
I can relate to that.
True.
Wow. Any last words for the audience as to, a message for them to contribute to all these purpose driven missions that you're running? How can they get in touch with you, contribute, and also grow?
So I am always open to anybody who wants to, contact me for any little bit of advice or any help that they need. I'm always open to helping people out. One word that I would want to tell any woman out there is that always support each other. Any small possible way that you can, whether it is in business or it is socially or it is simply as a friend and a listening ear, always give that support and give that circle of what should I say, help or a circle of support. Please give it to each other because that's what we always look out for, which a lot of times we don't get from our families or from those close members where we are actually seeking support. So yes, that becomes very, very important. That goes a long way.
I agree. But do you think men are also changing now?
Absolutely, men are
Yeah.
also changing, and it all starts from home. Again, it starts from the education that we give to our children and to our parents, the kind of counseling that we do. For example, again, I'm so passionate about education. Rakhi
Yeah.
that we celebrate in our schools. We never teach the children that your brother will come and protect you. And as a girl, you tie. We tie bands of mutual respect to each other.
Wow.
And that's where it starts.
Oh
We
my
need to
God.
change all of this.
That is so good.
So we cannot keep doing the same things what we were doing 20 years back. It is mutual respect. The kind of protection that your sister can give you is equally what you can give to your
Yeah,
sister. That's
very true.
where it starts.
Yeah, because I think men and women, they have their own strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think both can complete and complement each other, whether it's brother, sister, or a
Partners.
couple. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Love it. Any, how do you see next 20, 30 years of your life? What's your legacy brand vision, so to say?
Difficult question. Legacy, brand, vision. I would say more people knowing me as Seema Tanwar and knowing me as a person than really as a brand. If people can connect with me and if I've helped people in their journey somehow in their life, I think I've done my job.
Wow. I'm sure they will. I mean, when I met you first, I think you stayed in my memory. And I always wanted to sit with you and have this conversation. So I'm sure there are many like me.
Yes.
And more power to you for this. Let's get to the rapid fire.
Oh, yes, yes. So, what one word answers?
One line was also fine.
One line is also fine. No, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not the coffee with Karan. Rapid
No,
fire.
I know.
Shall we?
Yes.
All right. One word that defines your leadership style.
Democracy.
A habit you swear by to stay grounded.
Gratitude.
One quality every social entrepreneur must have.
Balance.
You are rocking it. The biggest misconception about social entrepreneurship.
Money making is important.
Your biggest fear.
Aging.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think you're aging gracefully. So, but I know I relate to that. One thing that schools should start doing urgently.
Value-based education system.
And they get in touch with you for that.
Oh, yes, yes.
A leadership quality you admire most in women leaders.
Taking along everybody in their journey of success.
Inclusivity.
Inclusivity.
Wow. I agree. A book that shaped your life.
What is that? The book on manifestations. Secret.
The Secret.
The Secret.
Thought so. A mentor who influenced your journey.
Various mentors at different points in life.
I'm sure.
So you'll have to maybe define an age. But one person, when I started my journey into corporate, our HR leader, Kanti Gopal, he used to observe me very closely and he used to tell me that, Seema, wherever I put you, you will excel. And I think that was the driving force in me since the very beginning. I just knew I could do it if I pick up something.
And that helped you also
In my all journeys
transition.
and everything that I do.
Amazing. Your 3 favorite movies.
Oh, Jo Jeeta Wohi Sikandar.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sholay, all-time favorite. Always love watching it. And I love everything about Marvel. I love the
Marvel
sci-fis.
fan in the house.
I love the sci-fis.
Wow. All right, the last one. 3 favorite songs that motivate you, keeps you going.
Chahe Tum Kuch Na Kaho, all-time favorite romantic song. Cherish the Love We Have. Okay. Since I am thinking about Jo Jeeta Wohi Sikandar, I'm thinking about the title song for that. नहीं समझे है वो हमें तो क्या जाता है हारी बाजी को जीतना हमें आता है.
Oh, lovely. Oh my God. This was so good. And I think you are a pro. I mean, for me as a host, I didn't have to put any effort. You're such a natural in talking. And this was like a breeze for me.
Lovely.
Thank you
so much for guiding the podcast so well. The way you maneuver is excellent. You're an expert in this.
I mean, I just go with my heart. But you have so much wisdom. I'm sure we'll have many more. This is just the beginning. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for hosting me.
Thank you. Pleasure.